Hi Scrubs, I hope you're well. So we're back on Horse Reality. Now the last day we were focusing on caretaking and the icons and what those all meant. Today I want to focus a little bit more on the results of competitions, such as conformation shows and regular competitions. So I just want to start off briefly talking about competitions because we kind of have looked at competitions before. We've looked at the requirements to entering a horse in a competition, the disciplines, how those are calculated. Now we haven't looked at the competition rewards. Now I'm just going to go back to Wonder here. So basically, once your horse is 3 years old and it's been put into a discipline, it can actually then start entering competitions. Now, whatever discipline is focused in is the only type of competitions it can enter. So Wonder here, for example, is an endurance horse, so she can only enter endurance competitions. Now, I have good equipment on her, and obviously I do advise if you're going to go and put your horses into competition, you should probably give them appropriate equipment to do so, and you can go into the regular store here, just the Echo store. And then you select whatever kind of type it is. So for her it would be endurance. I typically will go and get the supreme ones. If you can't afford to get the supreme ones, it's fine to go with something a little bit less. They all give a different kind of bonus, which is why I prefer to spend it on those ones. Now if we go back to Wonder, just really quickly here. Okay, so on Wonder, if we click on achievements, we can see her last 25 competition results. We can also see the level that those were completed at. So first level, for example, if we just click on her training, these were entered whenever she was at this level. We can see where she's also been entered into other ones. If we click on achievements, we can see where it's 4th level, 2nd level, and so forth, and where she finished off as well. So her best placing, for example, was 2nd place in a couple of those. Now, if we just jump over to the wiki here. So competition rewards. Upon entering a horse in a competition, you, the player, will receive 10 XP. When the competition is finished, the server will check the top 3 horses of each level within the competition, and the owners of the horses that are in the top 3 within each level will receive a monetary reward. And the reward depends on the level of the competition. So first prize is between 75 and 300, second is between 50 and 140, and third is between 25 and 70. Now please note the amounts of the rewards are still under construction and we're trying to figure out which prizes work out best. So I only typically will enter horses into competitions, and I kind of talked about this briefly before, whenever a horse is fully trained in whatever level it's in. So right now I wouldn't, spend the money entering her into CEI 2 because she's only 15% trained. I like to wait until the horse is 100%, then enter them before I then basically train them up to the next level, and the reason for that is it gives me a better chance of actually placing in the competition. Obviously, if you want to go and learn more about that, you can go in here and have a look. So we did talk about this briefly before. I'm not going to sort of focus on that today, but the next thing I kind of want to talk about is the actual conformation shows and predicates. So I've now got to the point now where I feel more comfortable sort of discussing predicates. So basically, I'm going to go into my stallions here because my stallions are labelled in what they have achieved. So, for example, you can see a couple of stars beside some of these stallions, and in some cases it says CA. So basically, so with conformation shows, we've kind of looked at this briefly before in terms of how they work. We're not going to sort of focus on too much of that part. We're kind of going to focus a little bit more on what results from it, but we are going to have a look at this. So conformation shows can be manually generated by a player for each breed on every continent every 3 hours, and every show takes 3 hours to finish, and if the show is done, it will take 30 minutes for the rewards to be handed out. When a show is completed, a player can start a new show. So we've got the requirements to enter a horse in a conformation show, so have at least 25 HRCs on your bank account, which will be used as an entrance fee. The horse needs to be in the same location as the owner, since you cannot travel your horses yet. You can only enter a horse in a conformation show when you're on the same continent as your estate, and the horse needs to have at least 15% energy, which will be used upon entering the conformation show. And then there's 3 categories. There's foals, and the horses need to be below 3 years old, mares, where the horse needs to be at least 3 years old, and female, and stallions, and geldings, and the horse needs to be at least 3 years old and a male. So the scores. A real equestrian will always groom this horse, and we kind of talked about this before, how you would make sure they're groomed before you enter them. This is also included a show factor, which is kind of a random number that affects the total score of the horse, and there's also to make sure you don't have the same scores each time, and the horse displays flair on that day. He could be grumpy and lazy on one day, while the next he can strut his stuff and show that he's the prettiest of all. Now we kind of talked about this before, because sometimes I'll take my best horse in and he doesn't really perform, and then other days he'll perform really well. And a perfect example of this actually right now is I have entered all of my stallions into the conformation show for Mustang. So if we just quickly go in here, so let's view results for the Mustang Horse Society. So these haven't finished just yet, but if we scroll down here to where my stallions are, now one of my best stallions is actually Attica, and another one of my best stallions is Avalon, but you can see that Dara has done particularly well today, and that is kind of how that kind of plays in. And another good example is if I click on my notifications. So Avalon, and this was for yesterday, Avalon became day champion in the Mustang Horse Society Confirmation Show, and you received 1 foundation ticket. Now we're going to talk more about that. He performed very well yesterday, but today it's not really his day. So if we just go back here, now the exterior. The score for the exterior of your horse is determined by checking the stats of the horse's body, and these stats cannot be affected. However, knowing the results can help you breed better built horses. Now, day champion. So if a horse has the best score in a confirmation show across all categories, you'll get a notification that your horse is a winning day champion, the prize they got from it. So basically, if we click in here to this result here, now basically what it means across all categories is it means that whatever horse has the best score across all 3 categories, which is the foals, the mares, and the stallions. So this stallion has 83.8, this mare has 84.5, and this top foal here has 85.6. So the 85.6 is going to beat this mare, and it's also going to beat this stallion. Now, unless another horse comes in here and gets a better score, that foal there is going to become the day champion. If this Mustang Society Horse Show finishes and nothing better, it basically enters. So that's how you know whether you're going to get day champion or not. Now obviously you do have to make sure that nothing else beats you, but you can't have any control over that. So the next thing is earning premiums. So while entering a confirmation show, your horse is able to earn premiums and predicates. So first premium is a score of 80 plus points. So if we go in here, basically, to the Mustang Horse Society Show, these red rosettes represent first, okay? So these are all horses that got over 80, alright? So plus 80 points. Then second premium is between 70 and 79.99. So if we go in here again, we can see that with the white rosettes. And then what happens is we get to the blue rosettes. So blue rosettes are where it's 69.99. So you can see that here. So that's a third premium. So basically, if we go back to my horses, just here, and we click on my stallions, basically I have put a star beside all of the stallions who have earned what's known as a star predicate. A horse that hasn't got it won't have a star. So I'm going to click on that horse, for example, and we'll click on Avalon here. So if you have a look here, predicates, this one says star. If I click on gloss here, gloss does not have a star predicate. Now how that comes in is earning predicates. Since most countries have their own set of rules within the horse registries, we decided to create our own predicate within horse reality. The predicates are mostly based on the predicates that are earned by Frisian and Dutch warmbloods in the Netherlands. We're still testing if things work or not. Depending on the outcome, we might change some of the requirements. There are 6 different types of predicates to be earned. There's the star, the proven, the sport not integrated yet, the performance isn't integrated yet, the clinically approved, and the approved stud. So 3 of these aren't integrated yet. So right now you can't get the sport, the performance, or the approved stud. But you can get the clinically approved, the proven, and the star. So, to start off with, the star predicate. The horse or foal needs to have earned at least 3 first premiums at confirmation shows. So basically what that means is, Avalon, to get his star predicate, had to win at least 3 of these, okay, which he has done. Gloss has not. Gloss has got second premium 41 times and 1 third premium, but he hasn't got a star because he hasn't got at least 3 of those, and that's what your horse needs to get in order to get the star predicate. Now, the next one is the proven predicate. So in order to earn a proven predicate, the horse needs to be at least 3 years old, and the requirements are different based on the sex of the horse. Now, stallions can produce offspring more easily than a mare, which would give them an advantage if it was the same. So a mare needs to have at least 8 offspring with star predicates, and at least 1 approved stud in her offspring. So basically, to get a proven predicate, that's what she needs to have achieved. Then when it comes to the stallion needs at least 20 offspring with star predicates, or at least 3 approved studs in his offspring. So the horse must be entered in a conformation show after it has reached one of the 2 achievements. After the show ends, the horse will receive its predicate. Now, I have not achieved any of these on any of my horses yet, because none of my horses have had enough offspring yet, or none of their offspring have achieved these just yet. So basically, this isn't something that I have managed at this point. Now, the next part is the clinically approved predicate. So if we go back to my horses here, just in the horses tab, and we go in over to the stallions, you can see that I have 2 ones that say CA. So we've got Custard here, and we've also got one other, which is Burden. So if we look at Custard, you can see he's got a star predicate, which is there. So you can see he has exactly 3 first premiums, so he just made it. And then he's also got clinically approved. And if we look at Burden here, for example, he's also got clinical approved. So for clinical approved, the clinical approved predicate is for stallions only in order to become an approved stud, which isn't integrated yet, but he needs to have this predicate. To earn this predicate, the stallion needs to have good health and good quality sperm, which means that all 6 of his health stats should be plus 75 points, and the health stats that are checked are fertility, colic resistance, hoof quality, back problems, respiratory diseases, and resistance to lameness. You can only check this by getting the stallion a clinical check at the veterinarian, which becomes available at the age of 7 years old or older. And the check may only be done once, as the stallion's health stats do not change over time, are not affected by anything the player does, such as care, exercise, vaccination, hoof trimming, etc. So basically, what happened was, whenever my stallions reached 7 years, then that's when I took them to the veterinarian for that. Now, right now, I don't have any other stallions here over 7 years, so I can't do that. Basically, if you wanted to do that, you click into here, you go to the veterinarian, and that is where you would do the clinical check, which is down here. So check your stallion's health in order to retrieve the official stud predicate. And the stallion needs to be plus 7 years old for his health to need to be 75% or higher. And that costs 350. So that is how all those predicates kind of come about and how you can achieve those. I'm going to have to work on getting the proven ones because I haven't achieved that just yet. That's going to be something I'm going to have to work on. I have a couple of stallions that are getting towards getting 20 offspring, but they're just not there yet. But that's what I'm kind of going to sort of work towards at this point, is that. But I kind of wanted to explain this now that I kind of had a better grasp of it. So star predicates I've been working towards. There's a couple of my stallions that just haven't earned those. So if we go in here and we go in there, we can see there is Gloss hasn't earned a star predicate, neither has Shakira or Smoke. But all the other ones have. Now obviously some of them are, varying. Like Custard, for example, has just got 3 and nothing more, whereas like Avalon, for example, he's done very well in terms of getting a lot of first premiums, and he's actually got Day Champion twice. So that is how to go about that if you want to earn any star predicates, or to earn your proven, or to go on and get a clinically approved stallion. So I'm going to leave that there, scrubs. I hope you had a lovely day, and bye guys!